Welcome back, Star Wars fans, to the channel where we dive deep into just about everything Star Wars. I know lately it's been about Andor and Ahsoka, but I promise I will move on from that. Today we're diving into an intriguing theory about Andor. Have we been tricked in the Andor series? No, this is nothing bad. If true, it could add another layer of complexity to the show. One that re-examines a character many of us have misunderstood, possibly. Perrin Fertha. Now you're probably thinking, Perrin? The guy who seems more interested in throwing lavish parties than helping Mon Mothma with her fight against the Empire, or at least her fight in the family? Well, what if I told you that the entire rocky marriage could be a ruse? That Perrin has possibly been in on Mon Mothma's secret rebellion plans all along, and they're both playing the Empire in a much more complex game than we first thought. I'd like to take full credit for this theory, but I cannot. It was inspired to me by a comment from the Dispatcher 01, who showed me that Perrin Fertha wasn't as aloof and combative to Mon Mothma as we were led to believe. The rest of it, I kind of made up as I went along using some evidence. Before we jump in, just a quick reminder, this channel will soon be rebranded as The Outer Rim. So if you haven't subscribed yet, now's the time. Subscribing is easier than getting through Coruscant traffic. And trust me, you don't want to miss out on all the deep Star Wars theories and content coming your way. Also, come Thursday, I am having a minor procedure done. Very minor. But I may not be able to make videos for a few days after that. This is just a heads up, and thank you all for your support. I promise I do have other content planned other than Andor and Ahsoka. I just wanted to get this out there before I lose my train of thought. Alright, let's start by looking at Perrin's portrayal in Andor Season 1. From the very beginning, Perrin seems at odds with Mon Mothma. He's depicted as frivolous, aloof, and disconnected from the weight of Mon's political struggles. He throws parties for Imperial elites, brushes off Mon Mothma's concerns, and seems more interested in his status and luxuries than in the turbulent political climate. But what if that's the point? What if this image of a shallow Imperial sympathetic husband has been constructed not just for us as viewers, but for the Empire as well? What if Perrin, much like Mon Mothma herself, is playing a role masking his true involvement in the rebellion, or at least his sympathy toward it? Now let's talk about the infamous gambling accusation. Toward the end of Andor Season 1, we see Mon Mothma use a conversation with Perrin as cover for her missing finances. Finances that have likely been funneled to the rebellion. She accuses him of gambling, essentially framing him as the reason for the financial troubles. But what if Perrin was in on this the entire time? In that moment, Perrin's calm demeanor stands out. There's no heated exchange, no defensiveness. Instead, it's almost as if he's complicit in the false narrative. Consider this. If Perrin knew he was playing the role of a reckless gambler to cover for Mon Mothma's involvement with the rebellion, it would explain his lack of resistance. He's playing his part, knowing that it's all part of a larger game. This scene takes place in a car, a place where they know the Empire could be listening. By accusing him in such a public surveillance spot, Mon and Perrin are effectively feeding the Empire the exact story they want them to believe. It's a classic sleight of hand, distracting the Empire with a personal scandal so they don't dig deeper into Mon Mothma's actual activities. Also, look at the lighting in the car. It's dark, a little dreary. We don't see that normally, and I'll get into the lighting aspect of this show a little bit later. Now, here's where the theory gets really fascinating. There's an old Machiavellian idea. Keep your friends close and your enemies closer. And when we look at Perrin's social activities, this saying comes to life. Perrin is often surrounded by high-ranking Imperial loyalists, attending social events and maintaining relationships with those who are clearly enemies of the rebellion and Mon Mothma. But what if that's the whole point? Perrin, under the guise of being an Imperial loyalist, is keeping himself close to the enemy by maintaining these social connections. He's perfectly positioned to gather valuable information and insights about the Empire's inner workings. And if Mon Mothma is fully aware of this, it's a brilliant strategy. She uses Perrin's proximity to these elites to stay informed, all while maintaining her own moral high ground in the Senate, something that Luthen Rael cannot provide for her. Let's take it one step farther. What if Perrin and Mon Mothma's rocky marriage is nothing but a carefully orchestrated act? Their strained relationship could serve as the perfect cover, making Mon Mothma appear vulnerable, distracted, and less of a threat in the eyes of the Empire. If the Empire believes that Mon Mothma can't even keep her personal life and her family together, they're less likely to suspect her of leading a galaxy-wide rebellion under their noses. This theory suggests that both Perrin and Mon Mothma have been in it all along. Their arguments and tensions could be staged for their benefit of Imperial spies, making them appear disjointed when in reality they're working together as a team, a solid team. Now let's talk about the lighting in Perrin and Mon Mothma's scenes. If we're to believe that their marriage is genuinely falling apart, we would expect the lighting to reflect that emotional weight. In most shows or films, a rocky relationship is also paired with dim, oppressive lighting, something that reflects the heaviness of the emotions between the characters. But what do we see instead? Bright, clean lighting. The scenes between Perrin and Mon Mothma are often well lit, with soft but clear illumination that gives us a full view of their faces, their expressions, and the setting around them. This lighting doesn't convey the emotional distance we're supposed to believe exists between them. Instead, it suggests clarity, transparency, even openness. It's as if their true relationship is there, hidden in plain sight for those who care to look closely enough for it. Let's consider their party scenes, for instance. The lighting is warm and inviting, despite the tension we feel as viewers. Visually, there's a sense of control and precision. If their marriage was genuinely on the rocks, we'd expect to see more shadows, more harsh contrasts between light and dark. But instead, the consistent lighting suggests that there's more going on beneath the surface. We could go back to the car scene that I discussed a moment ago. The lighting is darker, a little harsher, still clear though, and this could symbolize that they are into a devious plot. Now, let's dive into the music surrounding Perrin and Mon Mothma's interactions. One of the most interesting things about their scenes is the relative absence of a dramatic, tension-filled score. Instead, the music often remains subdued, allowing the dialogue to take center stage. This absence of music creates an odd sense of calm, even in moments where we expect conflict. If their marriage were truly filled with resentment and discord, we'd expect the music to reflect that, a low, menacing tone underscoring their conversations, building tension or a dramatic swell during their more heated moments. But that's not what we get. The music, or lack thereof, gives their relationship an almost neutral quality, as if the supposed tension between them isn't the real story. This absence of musical tension could be another indicator that we're being misled. Perrin and Mon Mothma aren't at odds. They're working together, and the lack of dramatic scoring hints at the emotional truth we haven't yet uncovered. By now, we've established that Perrin might not be the oblivious, self-centered husband we initially thought. But let's go further. If Perrin is indeed working with Mon Mothma, his role in the rebellion becomes crucial. By playing the part of the indifferent spouse, Perrin gains access to Imperial social circles without raising suspicion. He can attend parties, share drinks with Imperial office officials, and learn valuable information that can be fed back to Mon Mothma and the rebellion, all while looking like a husband that is at odds with his wife, giving the Imperials the thought that they have an insider into their own relationship. His actions, seemingly selfish and frivolous, could actually be calculated. If his true allegiance lies with Mon Mothma and the rebellion, then he's hiding in plain sight, a spy among Imperial loyalists. This leads us to an even more intriguing possibility. What if their entire marriage is a strategic deception? Mon Mothma and Perrin could have orchestrated this apparent estrangement as a way to shield their true alliance. By appearing to be at odds, they divert attention away from the real work they're doing together for the rebellion. In this theory, Perrin's public persona as a gambling, aloof socialite is simply a cover. Behind closed doors, he and Mon Mothma could be united in their efforts to undermine the Empire. His involvement in her financial scandal might have been a clever strategy from the start, providing Mon Mothma with a plausible explanation for her missing funds while keeping the Empire from digging too deep. Now let's go back to the car or floating car, hover car conversation that Mon Mothma had with Perrin. We didn't see any conversation before this, only when Perrin enters the vehicle. So this could have been orchestrated beforehand with them talking about, oh my God, there's this money missing. Let's figure out what to do with it or how to explain it away. Perrin's like, I was a gambler. Let's do it like that. Anyways, so yes, he could have been in on that whole deception. This theory reframes Mon and Perrin's entire relationship as one of strategy and deception, both toward the Empire and perhaps even toward us as viewers. If Perrin has been in on the rebellion all along, their marriage becomes more than just a subplot. It becomes a key element of Mon Mothma's resistance, a brilliant smokescreen that protects her from the ever-watchful eyes of the Empire, and it takes her daughter out of the equation by pushing her into the arms of a criminal organization that could protect her. And as far as we wait for season 2 of Andor, this adds a layer of complexity to every interaction between them. If this theory holds true, their calm exteriors, lack of explosive confrontation, and even the well-lit scenes are all subtle indicators that they are more united than they let on. The lack of dark lighting or dramatic music could signify not a failing relationship, but rather a strong partnership playing a long and dangerous game. And there are conversations that Mon Mothma and Perrin have had where Perrin makes slight comments as to him not being as stupid as she's letting us believe. And they're such small comments they could go missed. So was Perrin always meant to be more than just Mon's disinterested husband? Could their rocky marriage be a brilliant act of deflection, a carefully constructed deception to keep the Empire at bay? Only time will tell. Let me know what you think in the comments. Are you convinced by this theory, or do you believe Perrin is exactly who he appears to be? Remember, this is a spy thriller, and there are lots of twists and turns in spy thrillers. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button for more deep dives into Andor and other great Star Wars universe stuff. And as I mentioned in the beginning of this video, I will be rebranding this channel into a new name, The Outer Rim. So look for that. There will be some changes coming your way along with that name. All right, until the next time, this is Gerald, a Star Wars fanatic, signing off, wishing you all great health, happiness, and peace. Thank you all for watching, and remember, may the Force be with you always.